All right, everyone, welcome to this section, this design track section once more. So today's topic is climate action posters. So last time we talked about presentations and how to go about that. And Jane just presented her slides. She did an amazing job. So if you haven't done your own, kindly do well to finish up your designs so that you can present during the next session. All right, so we're going to work with artificial intelligence for this section. So we're going to use AI to make the posters. I already taught you guys how to make posters using templates and from scratch. So like I showed you guys on the last class how to create presentations, like the same process you use to create posters and flyers. So you just add elements to your whiteboard and then you have a nice design. So for today's class, I'm going to be showing you how to use AI for this same process. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Are you guys ready for the class? If you're ready for the class, give a thumbs up so that we can get started. If you're ready for the class, give a thumbs up. I'm only seeing 3 reactions here, and we'll have a full house. All right. So let's get started. So in this section, we're going to be talking about how to build multi-site, multi-element projects that advocate for climate action. So that's what we're going to be working on. So we're going to be mastering connected visual system that helps climate messages stay clear, credible, memorable across posters and presentation. So first of all, you understand the principles behind effective climate action posters. So you understand the principles, and then you learn to design engaging, persuasive presentations or designs. And then after that, you're going to utilize Canva AI and other tools to enhance creativity and productivity. So we're going to be working with let's say we're going to be working with different platforms. So Canva has their own AI. So we're going to test it out, and we're also going to use ChatGPT for some designs. So since we are using free accounts, we have limitations in this class. So we're going to make the best out of it. So what we're going to do is we kick off with the Canva designs. After that, once we get the limits for our account, since it's a free account, we're going to have a limit for that. I think 5 designs or 4 designs or thereabouts. So once we are done with that, we will rush to Canva to run some designs also. And then after that, if we still have time for more practice, then we can work a poster from scratch, or we can just develop our prompts and maximize the experience. So let's get started with the basics. So the agenda for this section is we're going to be designing poster designs. So we're going to check poster design principles with these, with focal points, grid system, and so on and so forth. After that, we're going to build a climate action poster using AI, like I said. And if we have spare time, we're going to design from scratch also a poster. And we're also going to use Canva AI tools itself to run some designs. So what you're expected to learn from this class is you're going to learn how to use AI to generate and refine environmental campaign ideas. So the most important thing about this section is that once you learn how to design with AI, you can make posters very, very fast and easy. And then you're going to write better prompts using context, audience, text, and constraints. Do you guys know what prompt is? Do you guys know what prompt is? If you know what prompt is, can you write it on the chat box? Okay, you guys, can someone write what prompt means on the chat box? Can someone write what prompt means on the chat box? Jane said prompt is a task given to AI. That's great. Who else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, we'll get to that. So we're also going to use AI-assisted design tools to explore visual concepts for sustainable communication. After that, we run critical evaluation. Bamise said, I agree with Jen. Okay. Critically evaluate AI outputs instead of accepting the first result. That means once you write your prompt and you get your results, you're going to review the results. You're not going to go with the results if it's not what you're looking for. So you have to be the person that tells the AI what to do. So once you get the results, you have to verify if it's correct. So that's what I mean by critically evaluating outputs. We're going to recognize professional looking AI outputs, and then we're going to verify factual claims, just like I said earlier. And then we're going to create an improved campaign that combines human thinking with AI assistance. So like I said before, you are in control of the AI, so you have to tell it what to do. So once you get your results, depending on the prompts you used, you're going to tell the AI what to do, and then you're going to verify if the output is the best outcome. If it's not, you edit it and try again. If it is, then you can go ahead and use the design. So you already understand the challenge we are working on how to design and communicate the challenges. So you already know your topics and stuff. So the idea of this section is not to teach you those ideas anymore because you already know what you're working on. Like when I mean what you're working on, I mean like your topics, food waste, um, water preservation, and so on and so forth. Just like we keep discussing in previous sections. So we're going to introduce AI to create assistant. It's going to assist you to generate, refine, and as relate your work. So that means if you are meant to design a poster right now, you can do it within 5 to 10 minutes, and then you get a great result. Is that okay? So we have green innovation, which helps us to understand the problem. We're already done with that. Mr. Lota took you guys on that. Design, so that you can communicate the problem. We're already working on that since last week. AI assisted design, so that you can use AI to amplify your creativity. That's what we're working on today. And after that, you apply human judgment and you become responsible for what you create. That means AI is not the person. If someone points out a mistake in your design, it's your fault. It's not the AI's fault. Is that okay? So that's what we mean by human judgment. If someone points out a mistake in your design, it's your fault. Is that okay? So you have to pay attention to what you're working on. All right. AI is the assistant. So the artificial intelligence is your assistant. It's not the designer. You are the designer. Is that okay? You already understand some of the sustainable challenges facing our planets, and you have to learn how to design to help communicate those challenges. Is that okay? So today we are going to explore how AI can help us create faster and think of more possibilities. But there's one particular rule, one major rule, which states that the AI is not the designer, you are. So anything you are designing, like I said, any mistake you make during this course is your fault. It's not the machine's fault because you are the person controlling it. You're meant to tell it what to do. So the AI generates, but you decide. Is that okay? Hope you guys are following one explaining. I'm only seeing a few reactions. If you are following, give a thumbs up so we proceed. All right, so we have the first case study. We're going to use food waste for the case study, the first case study. We are going to use food waste. Is that okay? So food waste is the first case study. All right, so I'm going to give you a context and I'm going to explain what a prompt is. Is that okay? So before we start, I have to explain what a prompt is for those of you that doesn't know what prompt means. Because some of you know what prompt is. Is that okay? So I'm going to explain. So prompt is an input, an instruction that tells a person or a computer system what to do. Is that okay? So the prompt tells the AI what to do. So prompt is just like a command that you give to the machine, and then it does the work for you. Just like telling someone, go to the market, buy this, buy that, come back with the items. Is that okay? Just like giving someone an instruction, you have to give the AI an instruction also using the prompts. So the input to give to the system is the prompts you give to the system. Is that okay? So it applies on other fields. The information you give to a computer system is a prompt. All right, so let's go back to the context. Like I said, we're using ChatGPT and Canva AI for this section. So ChatGPT.com, you're going to open it on your browser, ChatGPT.com, and you also open Canva on your browser. So you should have this page open on your browser, and you should also have the Canva page opened on your browser. Do you guys know how to? I hope you guys know how to. Okay, you guys know how to open Canva page because you guys have been using it for some time. And for the ChatGPT, like I said, go to ChatGPT.com, and then if it's asking you to open and to create an account, just log in using your Google account. Just click on your Google account, and then you'll be logged in into this section. Now, going back to Canva, since we are using the Canva AI, pay attention. At this menu, I didn't talk about the AI because we're getting to that. On the previous section, I didn't talk about the AI. So for this class, this is the Canva AI. This button you are seeing here that says Canva AI. That's what all you have to click to get to the AI. So we're going to be using that for this section also. So just click on the Canva AI and you have this place where you write the prompts. So we're going to come back to this page to paste the prompt, and then we test it out and see how the class goes. Are you guys following so far? All right, so let's get straight to the practicals. So I'm going to give you a contest. This is the first prompt over here. This is the first prompt. The first prompt says, give me a poster idea about food waste. Is that okay? Give me a poster idea about food waste. Now, the problem with this prompt is that it's not telling the AI what to do. It's just telling the AI the main, let's say, the subject of the task. So that means the AI is going to do whatever it likes and then provide the results or an output. And then at that point, you see different mistakes. The different mistakes you're going to see is going to be a problem to correct because you didn't add enough information. So the prompt is weak. So you're not meant to use the weak prompt for your prompting. So what you're going to do is you used improved prompts, just like this one on the right hand side. So this one says, I am creating an environmental awareness campaign for children aged 10 to 15 years about food waste. So I am creating an environmental awareness campaign for children aged 10 to 15 about food waste. So you are giving it an idea of the people you are running the design for. So if you are running the design for your school, you can write something like this, and then you put an age range that is going to tell the machine that this is for maybe primary school or high school or whatever. And then after the first line, you go ahead to give further instructions. And this says, give me 5 short campaign ideas that could encourage students to waste less food at school. Is that okay? So give me 5 short campaign ideas that could encourage students to waste less food at school. That's the second line. So you're giving it the first information, the second information, and then you go further to say, for each idea, include, so you're giving it extra information. For each idea, include 1, a short headline, 2, one sentence explaining the message. That's the additional facts. Is that okay? And 3, one simple action students can take. Keep the language clear and age appropriate. Do not invent statistics. Okay, so let me explain this last part. It says for each idea, include a short headline. So that means you're telling it to include a short headline. For example, save water. Is that okay? So it's going to know what you're talking about because you already told it that you're working on environmental awareness campaign for children. And then you say, use one sentence explaining the message. That's the additional facts. So it will know that you're asking it to add an additional fact about the headline, and then use one simple action students can take. So you already know that you're trying to work on something that has call to action page. Is that okay? Are you guys understanding the prompt? Do you guys understand the prompt? So that's the correct way to prompt. So you don't just what's it called? Write, just create a campaign poster for me about food waste and then you leave it at that, because it's not going to give you the best results. It's not going to give you the best results. So you want the best result. If you write something like this week prompt, if you write it and then click enter, the result you're going to get is not going to be nice because you missed out important information like this. And once you get the design and you start doing the corrections, adding more prompts, it will be hard for you to correct. But if you give it the full details, and then once you see the output, you can decide on where to make changes. So let's head over to ChatGPT and then we try out that prompt to see what happens. Have you guys opened your ChatGPT page? Have you guys opened your ChatGPT page? Okay. So I'm going to paste the prompt here, and I'm also going to paste the prompt on the chat box for those of you that want to test it out right now. If you pay attention to the prompt, we didn't add any color to the prompt. We didn't tell it the colors to use for the design. So you can also add that. It has to do with practical, but since you are talking about environmental awareness campaign, I think the machine is going to figure out that it's meant to use green and white colors because the models of the AI is trained, so it knows that campaign posters for environmental related issues are meant to be green and white. So let's leave the colors for now, and then let's see if it's going to work and if it's going to give us that particular color that we normally use. If it doesn't do that, then we are going to tell it the colors to actually use. Is that okay? So if you paste the prompt, and the last part of this prompt, it says, do not, the last part of the prompt says, do not invent stats. Is that okay? If you paste it on, you have to just paste it inside here and then click enter. And over here it says, do not invent statistics. So just by doing that, the AI is going to give you, the AI is already giving you information that you need. Is that okay? It's already giving you, you know, the idea of this particular prompt is, let me show you the main reason for the prompt. It says, give me, I am creating an environmental awareness campaign for children aged 10 to 15 about food waste. Give me 5 short campaign ideas. Is that okay? So the reason why we are running this prompt is to get campaign ideas for our designs. So we are getting the headline, we are getting the additional information, and we are getting the call to action. That's what we are asking it to do, only that. So we're asking it to give us 5 headlines, 5 messages, 5. So we have the headline here, additional information here, simple action. That's call to action. We have the second one. This second one says clean plate challenge. The additional information says finishing your meal helps reduce food waste. And call to action says try to eat all the food on your plate before throwing anything away. So that's the second one. The third one says, the headline says save it for later. Is that okay? The third one says save it for later. Additional information says some leftover food can be saved instead of wasted. The call to action says keep unopened snacks or fruits for your next lunch break. Let's say your break in school or whatever. So we have 5 headlines here. We have the additional information for those headlines, and then we have the simple call to action for that. So we're already generating, like, you guys usually struggle with additional information and your headlines and also your call to action button. So using this type of prompt, you're going to have this information for your topic. So if you are doing for food waste, you add food waste here. This particular section they said about food waste. So if you are writing your own prompt for your topic, you can write your own, maybe say water waste or something like that. You write your own topic here, and then you get your own headlines, additional information, and call to action. And then you decide on the one to choose from these 5 headlines, and so you go ahead and read these informations to know the best that you like. Are you guys following? Are you guys following? Okay, so once this prompt is meant to give you the headline, additional information, and simple call to action, so you don't have to stress yourself, because this is just like the artificial intelligence is scraping through the web and also scraping through its training models. So that means the engineers that built this AI, they already fed the AI with enough information to help you out. Just like going to Google to search for headlines and additional information. But here, once you write what you want to design or what you want to do, the AI already scrapes the Google and other search engine, scrapes its own training model, and then gets you the information you need on one page. Hope you guys are following. Hope you guys understand what I'm explaining. All right. Let's head back to. So this is the context that changes everything. So we have the improved prompt. Instead of telling it to give me a poster ideas about food waste, you go ahead to explain all the things you need, all the information you require from it, and then it's going to give you the best results. All right. So from idea to visual, we're going to use Canva prompting. So we're going to use Canva AI to run this particular section. Is that okay? So we have already gotten the information we needed, and we are going to try out Canva AI for this particular stuff you want to run right now. So let me go through it. So it says, the prompt says, create a clean, youth-focused environmental awareness campaign. Create a clean, youth-focused environmental awareness campaign. And, okay, campaign poster. And then the poster is about reducing food waste in school. So you have to write it in a manner that it will understand fully what you're working on. So this says, create a clean, youth-focused environmental awareness poster about food waste in school. And then it says audience, students aged 10 to 15, just like we explained in the other one. And then you say main visual. Now you're going to give it a visual that it's going to use. It says main visual is a school lunch tray showing edible food being thrown away. Is that okay? And then it says contrasted with a cleaner, in quotes, take only what you can finish choice. So that means we are using this what's it called? We are selecting the prompts depending on what we decide to, like, based on this, you are going to use this information here to fill out that prompt. So that's why it says take only what you can finish choice. Take only what you can finish choice is just an example of a result from this. Is that okay? It's just as an example of a result of this. So if you are choosing a headline here, you are going to use the headline, you are going to impute that headline inside this place. This place that says take only what you can finish. That's where you put your headline. Are you guys following? Okay, so once you put your headline there, and then you say, use a strong focal point, minimal tests. Minimal test means that it's not going to jam-pack the posters with a lot of text and elements, just like we talked about. The cleaner the poster, the more understandable it is. So we need the person to understand within 3 seconds or less. So we have to make it minimal text, clear visuals and hierarchy, and so on and so forth. So we are telling it to use minimal text, strong focal points, clear hierarchy, modern sustainable campaign style. Once you say modern sustainable campaign style, it already knows that you're talking about campaign poster, and then the general color used for campaign posters are green and white, so it knows. But you can go ahead to add extra guideline just in case it's so that it doesn't mess up the design. So it says green and warm neutral tone. Green and warm neutral tone. Is that okay? And then you write space for a short headline, one supporting message, and a clear call to action. Avoid frightening imagery, clutter of and fake statistics. Avoid frightening imagery. That means they shouldn't use any image that's going to trigger someone. So it should be a normal image, a normal picture that is okay for everybody to view. It's not going to be showing someone vomiting or whatever. It's not going to be showing any imagery that is not nice. And also, it's not going to be showing fake statistics. It's not going to pretend or formulate any fake statistics and write on the poster. Everything is going to be legit. Is that okay? So that's the main reason you write these prompts in this manner, to explain the whole actions you want the AI to take. So like I say, this place you are seeing take only what you can finish choice. We're going to replace it while we are prompting it. And let's go straight to that so you understand better what I'm explaining. So we're going to head over to Canva. Like I said, you click the Canva AI. You click on the Canva AI on the left-hand side. And then, I told you guys that ChatGPT can run this design also. If I go to ChatGPT and say something like, create this design using the first headline, using this choice, using this first headline, and I give it this second prompt that we give you this prompt, this particular prompt, is going to give you a nice result also. Is that okay? But we have limitations using Canva, free version of Canva. We have like 4 or 5 images that we can create for 24 hours. So you can create only 4 images within 24 hours or thereabouts. So we're going to be using Canva AI and ChatGPT AI so that we can make the most out of this section. That's why we are not going to be running all the designs on ChatGPT only. We are going to be using Canva also. So on Canva, like I said, click on the Canva AI. Hope you guys are seeing this, my arrow. Hope you are seeing my cursor. Are you guys seeing my cursor? All right, so click on the Canva AI, and then this is where you paste your prompts. This is where you paste your prompts. Now, look at what I'm going to do. Like I said, that place that there is this section that says take only what you can finish. I'm just going to grab another heading from ChatGPT. Take what you need. It's the same heading, so that means it took the first heading. This one says take what you need, while on the prompt it says take only what you can finish. So it's the same thing. So you can decide to change the headline from this place, and then once you add it to this place they wrote choice. We're going to remove the choice. So what we're going to do is we're going to say something like, from this place it says audience, students aged 10 to 15, main visual, a school lunch tray showing edible food being thrown away, contrasted with a cleaner, take only what you can finish choice. Is that okay? Now this what you can finish choice, we're going to write headline instead of choice. we're going to remove the choice and then we'll write headline. So contrasted with a cleaner, take only what you can finish headline. Use a strong focal point, minimal text, clear hierarchy, modern sustainable campaign style, green and warm neutral tone, space for a short headline. Is that okay? Now, in this place, they say space for a short headline. Now, I'm going to write space for the headline. So this headline here, which is take only what you can finish. So that's where we're space for the headline. So we're going to just customize it a little bit so that it understands what we're doing. And then one supporting message and a clear call to action, avoiding frightening imagery, clutter, and fake stats. So this place that says one supporting message, let's just grab our supporting message very, very fast. I don't want the Canva to be guessing the supporting message. So I'm just going to copy this and then add it to the Canva so that it doesn't use another supporting message. I want to use the ones that are generated from ChatGPT. Hope you guys are following. Are you guys following? Okay, so the supporting message here says only take the amount of food you know you can finish. So I'll copy that. And then I'll go to Canva and then I'll add it to this place. This place that says one supporting message. I'm going to add quotes. And then I'm going to add that supporting message inside the quotes. So one supporting message in quotes. Hope you guys are seeing this. So this place says one supporting message. I added it into a quote so that it's going to know that that's what it's going to use. Hopefully we get the best result out of this. And then a clear call to action. Now, the same process for the call to action. We add the quotes and then we go to ChatGPT to copy our call to action. Start with a smaller portion and get more only if you are still hungry. So start with a smaller portion and get more only if you are still hungry. So I'm going to copy that. And then in that quote, I'll add it inside the quotes. So here we have one supporting message in quotes, only take the amount of food you know you can finish. And clear call to action in quotes, start with a small portion and get more only if you are still hungry. And then lastly says avoid frightening imagery, clutter, and fake stats. Are you guys understanding how I edited this? How I edited this prompt? Are you guys understanding? Okay, so to make everything look better, so over here it says contrasted with a cleaner, take only what you can finish headline. Is that okay? So that's okay. Let's go ahead and click enter. Before we do that, we can decide to do some changes here or whatever, or we can decide to click here. If you click this arrow, you can schedule the design for tomorrow. Let's say, assume you are trying to design for tomorrow. You can schedule the design for tomorrow, but we are designing now. So let's go ahead and click the arrow button and see what happens. So once you click the arrow button, this bubble appears and then you wait for it to load. It's very, very fast. It's very, very fast, depending on your network. It's very, very fast. So as you have seen, it's writing, okay, it says, I will create a clean youth focused poster, blah, blah, blah. And then I will use take only what you can finish as the headline. So the message is clear and actionable. Hope you guys are seeing this, right? Hope you guys are seeing this. All right. Now let's wait for it to generate. So it's trying to generate different designs for us. And then after that, I think we have, like I said before, we have a limit. We have a monthly limit on free accounts. That's the only downfall of this method. But if you are using a paid account, which is very, very affordable, you can access the tool anytime, anywhere, any day. So as you can see here, we have different posters. So I'm going to, I don't know, let me try and zoom the posters so I will know that you guys are seeing it properly. Let me try and see if I can. I don't want to lose any of the design. I want to analyze. Okay, let me go ahead and send the prompts. I'm going to send the prompts, the normal prompts, so you guys can edit yourself. Choose your own headline and edit yourself. I'm not going to be sending the one I edited, so you can learn how to edit it by yourself. So let me go ahead and grab the prompt for you. Then you decide on the topic to use. Those places I did change, I made the changes. Go ahead and make your own changes there. Let me paste the prompts. All right, so that's the prompts. You guys can copy the prompts and save on your device. Maybe you can save on your MS Word or something so you can use it and practice later. You can go ahead and do that. So as you can see, we have different designs here. So I'm going to be opening up the different designs so we analyze them. But from looking at the design, you already know the best design to use. You already know the ones that is going to be easy for people to comprehend. And then you can decide to edit them if you want that also. You can edit some of them. If you don't like any visual, all you have to do is just click on the design to open it up. So any of the design that you click on is going to open it up. Is that okay? So any of those designs that it's drafted, you just click on it to open it up. So let's go ahead and start with this particular one. So once it opens up the design, you can now look at the design and then you decide on if you want to rearrange some elements or if you want to add some elements or want to remove some elements. You can just do that easily. And after that, you export. Hope you guys are following. Are you guys following? All right. So let's go ahead and look at this. So we have the first, let's analyze this first while the others load. We have this particular poster. You know, we said design poster. So this is how a poster looks. A poster layout is mostly like almost like A4 paper size. The layout is like straight. It's not like square like social media posts. A poster is more like a flyer, so it looks long like this. That's why you're seeing this layout. If we said social media post, it's going to stop somewhere here. It's going to be a perfect square design. So this is a poster, so it looks longer than the social media layout. So that's why you have this. Now we told you to use green and warm. So this background color you're seeing is not white. It's a little bit milkish or warm. That's why you're seeing this particular background. And then you are seeing food here, which is the lunch, the student's lunch, and you are seeing someone smiling. The only information that the AI missed out is the person throwing out food in the trash. The picture is not here, and you can decide to add it. But once someone reads this, take only what you can finish. That's during your break, your lunch, and then it's showing you a dish with just a little bit food that you can finish, and then it's showing a happy student carrying the food. So you can decide to change this particular one to an image of maybe food being thrown out on the trash or whatever. You can decide to do that here. So far it's Canva AI. You can edit any information you are seeing on the design. So if I delete this, I can decide to delete this particular child and add another image. That's if I want that. And then since it says take only what you can finish, that's the headline. And as you can see, the headline is bold. The font is Nonito. The font size is 125 font size, that 125 pixels. And then over here we have the additional information. Only take the amount of food you know you can finish. That's additional information we went for. And as you can see, all the elements are aligned to the center. From here, you can see it's aligned to the center. And then the call to action button is placed on a green background. Are you seeing this? So it's more like a button, so someone can read it last. The call to action button is placed on a green background. If you feel like it's too small, you can go ahead and increase the size of the text of the call to action. You can go ahead to increase the size. You can also go ahead to make it more visible by making the text color white, pure white, because this is not pure white, so make it pure white. We can also decide to make the background color pure white. Is that okay? We can decide to make the background color pure white also. Hope you guys are following. Are you guys following? Okay. So this is the first design. Like I said, you can edit the sizes of the write-up and do whatever you want with the alignments and the changes. You can decide to remove the pictures and add your own pictures. And as you can see, this is a simple plain design. Anybody that sees this design is going to understand what you're trying to show them. Is that okay? And then the second design is still the same design, different, but as you can see, this particular one is kind of scattered. So if you're using this one, you have to drag this to this place, position to the top, and change the color to white. So once it generates the design for you, you make the changes based on the knowledge you have already on Canva. You make changes you want. You make sure you align everything properly. These images you are seeing here, you can increase the size a little bit. So just go ahead to adjust your work, and then you are good to go for this particular one also. This particular post here is a little bit more explanatory than the other two because it has the informations, more additional informations are added to this particular design. Is that okay? This is more like a full-blown magazine, a full-blown poster. So if you are printing this out, you're going to print it on a large size of banner. The banner is going to be large so that someone can be able to read these things inside. So this first one says, this is more like a story type of poster. So this one says, every day schools throw away huge amounts of perfectly good food. Is that okay? So it's trying to explain the problem here. And then here it says, take only what you can finish. And then it explains what it means by that also. And then it says, take action. And it explains also what it means here. Is that okay? So this is a full-blown banner, a full-blown poster. If you are printing this, based on the sizes of the text, you are meant to print it out on a large banner flex that you can hang in your school environment or whatever. And then for the last one we are checking out is this one here. This one has some sort of logo here at the top. Let me go ahead and increase the size a little bit. So it has the logo of, let's say you're working with a company, so it has the logo here. You can adjust that and change this to your own logo and add your company name. Or like I said, if it's for your school, you can add your school logo, your school name. So here it has food, and then it says, take only what you can finish. That's the headline. If you scroll down a little bit, it says, only take the food amount, okay, take the amount of food you know you can finish. This one is a little bit small, so you can increase it a little bit. But remember, if you are increasing the additional facts, make sure you don't make it as big as the headline. Is that okay? Just pay attention to that. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you see something like start with a small portion and get more if you are still hungry. This is the call to action button. Now, this particular design breaks down the call to action button into 3 advantages or 3 steps. So the first one says less waste, and it says wasted food warms our planet and community. The second one says small portions, take small amounts first and see how you feel. Every bite counts. So if you are still hungry, you can pick more. So the last one says go back for more. Still hungry, it's okay to get a second helping. So this particular design breaks down the call to action into 3 additional information. And at the last section, we have the website for the company or the school. So you have to add the website if you want to do that. And then we have the email for the school or the company also. You can decide to add that, or you decide to delete these ones at the downside. So this is basically what we generate very, very fast from artificial intelligence. This is for Canva artificial intelligence. And we are going to take a break from Canva for now. We are going to go to ChatGPT and try to generate something for another case study. Are you guys following so far? Are you guys following so far? Any questions so far? If you understood how I edited the prompts, hope you guys understood how I edited the prompts. Okay, like I said, you have to replace the headline. You have to add the headline in quotes. Just use quotes. You add the headline, and then you do the same process for other information. So you add the headline in quotes. One supporting message, that's additional information, you add it also. Call to action button, call to action quotes, you add that also in quotes, so that it's going to use the information you gave it to run the particular design. If you don't add these informations inside these prompts, it's going to generate whatever you want, and then you start editing. And then if you start editing, like I said, using a free account is going to be difficult for you, and it's going to be double work. So you have to calm down, give the machine the full information of what you are trying to work on before you click enter to submit the prompt. Hope you guys are following so far. So let's get started with the second case study. So we are done with this particular case study. We are going to run the second case study using energy conservation. So we're going to use energy conservation for for this this second case study. So we're using energy conservation for the second case study. Now, for this second case study, I'm going to read it out for you to understand. Hope you guys are storing the prompts for your practice. Hope you guys are storing the prompts. You know, I pasted the 2 prompts. The first one to generate headlines and the additional information. I pasted it on the chat box. So you are meant to copy it and store it. And also I pasted the Canva prompts. That's this particular one we edited. I also pasted it for you to edit your own and then add your own topics and additional information that you got from the ChatGPT, and then you store it also maybe on your notes or your MS Word. Just store the prompt because you are going to need it for your projects. Is that okay? And now we are going to head to the second case study, energy conservation. Now this one says, give me 5 short headlines for a poster encouraging families to reduce unnecessary electricity use. The headline should be simple enough for a 10-year-old to understand, action-oriented, and no longer than 7 words. Is that okay? So you are trying to tell it the headline to use. And then you're also telling it focus on switching off lights and appliances when they are not being used. So this is the prompt you are trying to give it. Is that okay? This is the prompt you are trying to give it. That's for the ChatGPT. We're going to try to use ChatGPT to generate this particular design. We're not going to use Canva for this because it's showing me a limit right now. So I'm going to try to use ChatGPT to generate this particular one. So let's head over to ChatGPT and paste that prompt. And then let's see what information we get from it. Let me go ahead and paste the prompt for you also on the chat box. So the prompts are just like informations given to the machine as an input so that you can expect an output from it. And then this is the first prompt. After using the first prompt, you will now decide to use Canva AI for the second prompt, or you can still use ChatGPT for the second prompt. So we're going to show you how to use ChatGPT. It's the same process with the Canva AI also. The same process, just paste your prompt, edit the prompt, and then you hope for the best. Once the output is out, you decide on the changes to make, and then you export. So let me go ahead and run the same command for, I'll paste the prompt here, and then I'm going to generate some headlines to see what happens. Hope you guys are following so far. Are you guys following? Okay. All right, so I'm going to, this is the first part of the, this is the prompt I'm pasting here. I've already pasted it. So I'm going to grab additional prompts, just to supporting prompts, just to make it a little bit easier for the AI to understand. So I'm going to add an additional prompt. The additional prompt is going to be switch for the headline. Switch it off when you are done. Write 3 possible supporting lines for a family energy conversion poster. Each line should be under 18 words. Explain the behavior clearly and avoid unverifiable statistics or exaggerated claims. So we are also telling it not to use fake statistics. So it has to be original. So let's just add that prompt and see what happens. So I'm going to paste that prompt also. So what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say for this second prompt, I'm going to say for the headline, use this example. Use this example as a case study. So I'm trying to give it an example of what I'm searching for so that you understand the example of a headline. So for a headline, use this example as a case study. Switch it off when you are done. Is that okay? Write 3 possible supporting lines for a family energy conservation poster. Each line should be under 18 words. Explain the behavior clearly and avoid unverifiable statistics. So you can still edit the prompt further. So you have to tell it what you want to do, and then you hope that it gets the best result. Like I said, if it doesn't get the best results, it's from you. You are not giving it enough information. You can still add additional informations or whatever you want on these prompts, depending on what you're working on. The more information you give the machine, the more better the outputs. So let's go ahead and just click enter with this and then see what happens. So once we get the headline, the headlines and the supporting information, just like it's very, very fast. So we have already gotten the headline and additional facts. So the poster headlines, first one says switch off lights, save energy. That's the powerful headline. Second one says turn it off every time. If someone sees this headline, turn it off every time, the person will be interested to know what they are meant to turn off, and then the person will go ahead to read the additional information. Is that okay? So this one says, don't leave it running. So these are powerful headlines. This one says, lights off, energy saved. While the fifth one says, power down when finished. Power down when finished. So all the headlines here, all the poster headlines here are powerful. Just from writing these prompts, it already knows what you're looking for, and then it's going to give you powerful headlines. And the additional facts, like you say, supporting lines for switch it off when you are done. This is this additional information I gave it. That's the second part of the prompts. This one says turn off lights when leaving a room, even if you will be back soon or back later. So if you are leaving the room, just turn off the light. When you come back, you on it back. Those tiny units of light that you consume, if you stretch it out over a long period of time, it's going to lead to energy loss. Is that okay? So just when you're leaving the room, turn off the lights. If you come back, you on it back. It's not a problem. This second one says switch off TVs, fans, and devices when nobody is using them. Is that okay? And then this last one says make checking switches. Make checking switches part of your family daily routine. So make checking switches part of your family daily routine. So you have to check your switches every day. Is that okay? So we have the powerful headlines here, and then we have powerful supporting messages here, additional informations here. Hope you guys are following so far. Are you guys following? Okay. Now we are going to go further to giving it another prompt. I'm going to paste that prompt here for you also. Now this prompt is now going to tell it to give, we have powerful headline, we have additional information. We are going to now ask it to give us call to action for this particular information we are trying to generate here. So let's go ahead and do this prompt. It says, write 5 short call to action for a household energy saving campaign. Each must tell the reader exactly what to do and be under 8 words. So this particular prompt is the call to action. This first one says switch off lights when leaving. So all these things we are seeing here, the poster, headline, the additional information, these call to action buttons match these things. So you can decide on the one to use during your prompting. That's the time you are trying to create the design itself. You are going to decide on the headline to use, supporting information to use, and the call to action to use. So you give it the prompt one after the other. This is for headline. This particular one is for headline. This second one under it is for additional information. You can still decide to, this last one I pasted now, you can still decide to add it to this to making it 3 prompts, so that it will give you 1 result, second result, and then third result. You can do it together, so you can get the results from, even if you write it together, the 3 prompts together, just give space in between them, and then you're going to get these 3 results very, very fast. Are you guys following so far? Okay. Now, for the design itself, like I said, we are not going to be using Canva for this particular one. We are going to try out ChatGPT to see how the result is going to look. Is that okay? Canva is a designing tool. So if you do it on Canva, it's going to give you a chance to edit it. Even if they make mistakes and you click on the design you generated, you can edit anything you want. But it's different from using ChatGPT because this is not an editing software. So if you do it on ChatGPT and you get a result, it might be a problem for you to solve, but you can still add additional prompts. For example, if he uses a wrong headline, you can still come back to the prompts and then you write something like change the headline to, and then you write your own prompt. It's going to correct the design and then show you the output again. I hope you guys are paying attention to that. So this prompt we are going to be using now is for the designing itself. So we have already gotten the information we wanted here, and we are going to now feed it to this prompt for the design itself. Now, remember, I'm pasting prompts for you, but you have to edit it to match what you're working on. Now, this one says, design a modern environmental campaign poster encouraging families to switch off unused lights and appliances. Show a relatable home scene with an unused light or device being switched off. So we're telling it the visual to use here. A relatable home scene with an unused light or device being switched off. And then the next line says, strong headline area, switch it off when you are done. That's the headline. So you can decide to change that. You choose your own headline for here, from here. Let's say I choose, let me go ahead and choose this headline, this first one. And I'm going to replace this section, this headline in quotes with that headline I chose. So my headline says, switch off light, save energy. That's my own headline. So I'm editing that default one on this. So you can go ahead and edit your own prompts. Switch off light, save energy. And then this after that, it says include room for one short supporting line and one clear call to action. Is that okay? Use high contrast, strong visual hierarchy, minimal text, clean sustainability aesthetics. When you say clean sustainability aesthetics, the machine already knows you are talking about sustainability, environment. So it's going to try to use those colors that matches those information. And here it says add an optimistic rather than guilt-driven tone. This statement here makes it comfortable for people to read it. So if someone sees something like turn it off every time, or don't let it run in, or lights off, or on the additional information, it says turn off lights when leaving a room, even if you'll be back later. It's not sounding harsh to the person reading it. Is that okay? That's why we added this particular information here, to make it to be calm for someone to read it without feeling any guilt that they have been wasting energy. So if you are feeling guilty that you have been wasting energy, the design is not going to show that. You don't have to feel guilty about that. You just have to start doing the actions. So we have to make additional changes here. You said we already made changes to our headline and switch off lights, save energy. This second line says include room for one short supporting line. Now it says include room for one short supporting line. After that supporting line, give a space, add your quotes, and then you choose the supporting line you want to use. Is that okay? Let me copy this first one. Let me copy this first one. So we're going to use that first supporting line. So after this include room for one short supporting line, you add the quotes, and then you add your supporting line inside the quotes. Hope you guys are following. So you add your supporting line inside the quotes, which is this. And this places and one clear call to action. Now we also do the same for the call to action, because we are not allowing the machine to pick random facts and call to action. We are using our own. We are telling it the call to action to use. That's why we are editing the prompts. So the headline says switch off lights, save energy. Additional information says turn off lights when leaving the room, even if you'll be back later. And then call to action, we have to pick a call to action here. Let's pick this first one that says switch off lights when leaving. Is that okay? That's the call to action. So after display the roads, add one clear call to action. You add your quotes, and then you paste that call to action there. So we have our call to action here. We have our additional information here. Let me go ahead and bold it so you see it properly. So we have our headline here, additional information here, and then call to action. Now pay attention. The first statement here says design a modern environmental campaign poster. This is the first statement here. It's already telling it what to do. Like, if you don't add this, design a, it might be a problem for you to understand that you are trying to tell it to create a design. So you have to write it. It's just like telling someone, go ahead and design a poster about so and so. So you have to write it in this manner. That's why I'm giving you the default prompt that you can use to edit your own work. Like I said, you can add your own colors here. You can tell it, you can give it the color hex code to use. You can say something like use white background and green accent colors, comma, and then you can write something like use these types of green accent colors with hex code hash, and then you write those color hex code that you want to use, the different hex code that you want to use, the types of the green colors that you want to use. You can do that if you want. Is that okay? So you can ask it to use white background color, green accent color, use these types of green accent colors with hex codes. You add the different hex code that you want to use. You can do that also, and then you see how it goes. Is that okay? Hope you guys understand it. So you can also tell it the colors to use. You can tell it the hex code to use. You can just write it the way you want it to be, and then you go ahead to click. Before I click enter for this Canva and for this ChatGPT, I'm going to select something here so that I can narrate the prompt perfectly. So before you click enter, click on this plus sign here. Click on this plus sign here and then select create image. Is that okay? Click on this plus sign here and select create image. Hope you understand it. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I've already used up my limit for this account. So I'm going to copy these prompts. And then I'm going to open ChatGPT using another account, and then I'm going to paste it and run it. So you guys see how it looks. And then hopefully we get a nice design. So let me go ahead and log into another account. If you have multiple emails, you can create multiple accounts on ChatGPT also. You can create multiple accounts. So once you run out of design, like I say, you can do 4 or 5 designs between 5 hours. So once you run out of that, you can decide to log in another account, and then you can use that particular account. So let me log out this particular account, and then I'm going to log in another account and then show you the results of the prompts. Hope everyone is following so far. Okay. So you can ask the machine questions, but once you want to run something that is serious like this, it's going to ask you to log in. Is that okay? So you can click continue with Google to be able to log in with the various accounts you have. And then once you log in to the accounts that you haven't used for that 24 hours, you can decide on the account you want to use. If you have different email setup on your system, you can switch in between emails to have more chances of working. Because if you have only one email, then you are limited to only 4 pictures, unless you are using a paid version of ChatGPT. So I'm logging into a new account right now, and as you can see, we have a clean slate. So if you generated all these prompts or edited all those write-ups on another account, make sure to copy it out. Make sure to copy it and paste it out somewhere else. And then once you log in a new account, you go ahead and paste it back, just like my own. And like I said, click on the plus sign, click on create image, so that it knows that you're creating images. And it's as simple as that. And then it is going to try to give you ideas over here. It's going to try to give you type of image, different types of default images here. You are not interested in any of these, unless you just want to try out creating posters or creating, depending on the type of image you're working on. But this things under here is none of your business, because you have already given the prompts the type of design you want. Is that okay? So let's go ahead and click send prompt, which is clicking enter to let it work, and then we'll see what it ends up generating. So let's wait for it to create. So as you can see, it's creating the image. That's the same process you saw on Canva. It's the same process you use on ChatGPT. So it's saying creating image. So we have to wait a little bit for it to create the image. So it's trying to use the information you provided here, and then it's going to scrape the internet, Google, and also the training models, and it's going to try as much as possible to generate a nice image for you. Hope you guys are following so far. Are you guys following so far? All right. So as you can see, we have a very, very nice design here. We have a very, very nice design. If you guys are seeing this, let me just go ahead and preview it. I'll go ahead and preview it. I'm also going to show you maybe how to do some changes on Canva if you don't like some information here. Let me first of all download this. So to download this, all you have to do is just right-click, save image as. Right-click on it, and then you do save image as to download. And once I download the image, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to try and show you how to edit information here, changing the prompt a little bit to edit information here. But as you can see, we have the full design here. On this frame here, you see small actions, big impact. That's the frame inside their house. And then you're seeing the woman and the kid. The woman is switching off the lights. And the headline says, switch off lights, save energy. That's the headline we used. Additional information here says, turn off lights when leaving a room, even if you'll be back later. Hope you guys are seeing all of this. And then the call to action says, switch off lights when leaving. That's the call to action. And the artificial intelligence went further to add some footer for us. This one says save energy. Second one says better future. And third one says stronger together. So this is what you get when you use ChatGPT. Only issue with it is that you have to give it enough information. The advantage of Canva over it is that once you run it on Canva, you can edit immediately. While on this ChatGPT, you have to write the prompt to edit inside here. You can also edit using Canva from ChatGPT. From inside this ChatGPT, you can edit also on Canva. You can edit this particular picture on Canva, but you have to call in a Canva plugin here, which is advanced for you guys. So I'm going to keep it simple as possible. Now, I'm going to show you how to change this. Let's say I want to change this headline. All I have to do is I'll write change headline from, in quotes, switch off lights, save energy. So that's the headline we have now. So I said change headline from switch off lights, save energy to, and then I add the new headline I want to use. Is that okay? So can someone comment a headline for me to use? Can someone comment a headline for me to use? Can someone comment a headline for me to use very, very fast? Can you guys comment a headline for me to use? Just from the previous one I showed you guys, the the headline I showed you guys. Can someone do that? If are not storing if you are not testing out the, what's it called? You guys are not testing out the prompt I've been sending, because you guys are meant to have your own headlines and additional facts by now from the prompts I've been sending to you. Okay, let me just write save energy, turn things off. Okay, let me just use that. Thank you very much, Easy. Save. So we're going to give it the headline to use right now to replace that particular one on the design. Save energy. Turn things off. So here we say change headline from switch off lights, save energy, to save energy, turn things off. So let's see what happens. Remember to click the plus sign and add, select. If it's not, if it, you are very, very slow, Ikech. I've gotten the, okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Change headline from switch it off, save energy, to save energy, turn things off. Let's just use that. So how I have to do is just click enter once more, and then let's wait for it to try and change this particular headline. So the reason we are not seeing errors on this design is because we gave it the information to use. We first of all generated the headline, additional information, call to action. So it already has the full information to use for the design. That's why I'm not seeing a bunch of let's say useless elements on this design. If you don't give it this information, it's going to generate something that you wouldn't be happy with, and you end up trying to run the changes. And before you are done with editing one particular poster like this, you already exhausted your free plan, and you have to wait for 24 hours. That's the next day for you to continue designing. So we don't need that. So all you have to do is feed it the best prompts, just like this. Give it all the information it needs, so that once it generates the first one, you can edit easily. So let's see what happens. It might change the pictures depending on the prompt you use, but if you keep the prompts as simple as possible, just like this, I say change the headline from switch it off, save energy, to save energy, turn things off, save energy, turn things off. As you can see, it changes only that particular place I asked it to change. Is that okay? But if you don't keep it as simple as this, it might go ahead to change the images, like distort the images, make changes to the environment. Is that okay? So we wouldn't want it to change the environment. We just need it to change the things we want it to change. If you want it to change the additional information, you can also ask it to change the additional information. But pay attention. Remember to use the quotes so that you won't make mistakes with that. So just add the things you want it to do in quotes so that it will be easy for it to run. Is that okay? So right now we have a nice design. So it will change the headline from this to this. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go to Canva, and then I'll show you how to make a little bit changes to that particular design. Manual changes from Canva. That's what I'm talking about. So we are going to select flyer portraits. We're going to select flyer portraits, which is this, because that design we generated is a flyer portrait. So that's what we're going to be selecting. And then we're going to add the image here and edit it a little bit, just a little bit. Remove what we don't like, add what we like, and then we export it. That's if you want to edit it. If it's not perfect for you, if you want to add additional stuff to it, you can simply bring it to Canva and do that. But if you're okay with it, then you're good to go. You don't have to do this particular part I'm trying to do right now. Now we are done opening the layouts. We're going to click on upload over here, and then we're going to upload that design from our laptop because we already downloaded it. Like I say, if you want to download it from ChatGPT, just do right click and then do save images. So over here, I've uploaded the design here. Now, what I have to do is I will have to place it at the top side, and then I'm going to stretch it out. As you can see, it fits perfectly to that layout I used because it's a poster, flyer, portraits. Is that okay? So it's the same layout. That's like I said, it's the same layout. You have to pick the layout. If I chose something like social media post, it's going to stop somewhere here. So you now have to expand this, and automatically it distorts the design. As you can see, the design is cut off. So that means you have to select the perfect layout for your design, which this particular poster is a flyer portrait poster. That's why we use that layout, and then we have this. So like I said, if you push it up here, you stretch it out, and then it fits the page. Now, pay attention to this. Let's assume I want to change some elements in this design or some colors. I can do that easily. As you can see, if I click on this picture, we see colors like dark green, we see light green, we see this beige type of color. Let me go ahead and choose red. Let's see what happens. Sometimes, based on this being a background color, it might be difficult for some colors to change. But if you start tweaking colors, as you can see, it's already changing. So you can decide to select the colors you want for some, if you don't like some colors, you can decide to do that. Let's say for this light green, if you don't like this particular light green, you can use your own green. You can use your own green colors. Hope you guys are seeing what I'm doing. Hope you guys are understanding what I'm doing. Okay. So you click on the image. You can decide to change the colors you want here. That's okay. So this particular green they were using is too dull. So you can decide to use your own type of green color to make it a little bit lighter. You can do that. You could also change something like this icon here. So let me go ahead and change this icon, and then we'll try and do the last prompting before we end the section. So to change this icon here, what we have to do is we're going to first of all block this particular icon here. And to block this particular icon, we're going to use a circle. So we're going to search for circle on the elements tab. So we search for circle, and then we add a circle to the page. So let me try and do this. Now, if you add a circle, if the color of the circle is different from the color of the background, as you can see, this place is kind of white. So you have to change the circle to white. This is a perfect circle. So all I have to do is I will place this circle here. I can place this circle here to cover this particular circle here. And as you can see, this particular one has like a greenish background, greenish border. This circle here has green border. So I'm still going to do the same thing with this particular circle I'm adding here.
I'm not.
Okay. Once I place the circle here to cover that particular one, I'm going to come to this menu here and add border. I'm going to add border to it, to this circle. Click on it, click on stroke style, and then add the border. Now, if you're adding border to this particular circle, it might be a problem because it's going to give it a rectangular border. So what you're going to do is, instead of you to do that from here, you duplicate this circle into two places. This one into two places, and then this first one here, you change the color to the border you want to use. So let's assume I'm using this green as border, and then you carry the second one and place on top of it and reduce the size of the second one a little bit, and then you have something like this. Are you guys paying attention to what I'm doing? Hope you are paying attention. You add the first circle, make it green. Add the second circle, duplicate it. It's the same circle, but this time around, you reduce this one a little bit. So you have this border around it. Because if you are trying to add a border here, it's not going to work because here we are seeing a square. So you cannot have a border that is square. So you have to create your own border, which is this pattern we just did now. So you add your own green background, green circle background, add the smaller circle inside it, Make sure you see the plus sign. That's the center of the circle. Make sure you see the plus sign. That's like I taught you guys. Make sure you see the plus sign. That signifies that it's at the center of the circle. Is that okay? And then after that, we go back to the elements and then we search for switch or light switch. We search for light switch on the elements and then we go to graphics. We can use graphics, we can use images, depending on what you want to use. But I want to use graphics because I want to be able to color it, like to change the color of the icon. You can use something like this. You can use any type of icon you want. So far, it matches the story you are trying to tell. All you have to do is just center it to this particular circle, and then automatically you have created your own what's it called? Your own icon here. So depending on what you want to use, you could decide on what you want to use for that particular section. Is that okay? So as you can see, I use this particular image for that. So if you don't like any elements on the design, you could change it. This plant here, this leaf here, you can change it also. These icons at this downside, you can also change it. So that will enable you to have full power over the design. Like I said, the AI is not creating for you. You are the designer, so you have to decide on what to do using the AI. Hope you guys are paying attention to what I've been doing so far. Hope you guys are paying attention. All right, that's great. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, let's try and rush the third example, and then we can decide to end the section after that. So let's just do the third what's it called? The case study, the last case study. Okay. Okay. So just like we explained before, we use the context. That's what you are trying to create. Who the audience is for. That's why we keep on saying it's for children within the 10 to 15 age brackets. That's the audience. If you don't give it this audience, it's going to give you a design prompt that is advanced for adults. Is that okay? So if you are designing for an adult, you have to add the age bracket you're targeting. If you're designing for kids, you add the age bracket so that the AI is going to write it in such a way that kids can understand. It's going to be as simple as possible for kids to understand. Is that okay? If you use advanced languages for kids, some of them cannot understand that particular write-up. And then after the audience, setting up the audience, the task, what should I do? That's, you give it the task, and then you wait for it to settle the prompt. Now, in this place, it says constraints. What limits must it follow? This particular write-up that says constraints, that stuff we normally write at the end of the prompt. Something like this. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Let me show you what constraints is. This place it says use high contrast, strong visual hierarchy, minimal text. All these things you are giving it at this last part is the constraint. So you are telling it not to overdo it, not to use fake stats, to use so and so colors, so and so write-ups, test styles, and so on and so forth. These are the constraints you are giving the AI. So if you don't give it constraints, it's going to do what it likes. So you have to give it constraints also after writing the whole prompt. Now, the third case study is plastic waste and blocked drainage. Is that okay? So let's dive into that. So I'm going to copy the prompt for that, and then we try and run that very, very fast before our time runs out. Okay, so let's get started with the last prompt. So this particular prompt says, I am developing a youth environmental campaign about plastic waste, blocking drainage channels and contributing to local flooding. Suggest 4 visual concepts that could communicate the connection clearly without using frightening or disaster-heavy images. For each concept, explain what the viewer should notice first and what action the campaign should encourage. So this is the first part of the prompt. So I'm going to try to use that. I'm going to just use that prompt very, very fast to see what happens. So let's go ahead and submit that. So let me paste it. So this is for plastic waste. Let me paste the prompt for you also. So as you can see, it's using the information we gave it to generate headlines, additional facts, and call to action. So this one says the drains shopping bag. This second one says follow the bottle. This third one says before the rain, after the rain. Is that okay? These are powerful headlines and additional facts. And then we have the call to action. We have how the connection does the process of filtering the drainage. Also here we have some additional facts also. So these are the informations we are getting from the AI. Now let's go ahead and paste the second part of the prompt to create the design itself to see what happens. Now this second part is the design in itself. So I'm going to paste it for you before editing. And then this one says create a realistic educational campaign image showing a community drainage channel blocked by plastic bottles and packaging, with water beginning to accumulate after rainfall. The environmental problems should be immediately understandable. Include people only as a background context, not as victims. Is that okay? Documentary inspired by suitable for children and teenagers. Leave clean negative space for headline and call to action. Avoid graphic disaster imagery, exaggerated flooding, and tests inside generated images. Now, see, we are giving it constraints here. Avoid graphic disaster imagery. This last part is the constraints. Like I say, we have to copy the headline we want. So we're going to copy the headline right now. Copy the second. I'm going to copy the second headline. Is that okay? I'm going to copy the second headline, and then I'm going to paste it on this place. They said leave clean negative space for a headline in quotes. I will paste my headline in quotes. Is that okay? Follow the bottle, that's my headline, and call to action. Now the call to action for that follow the bottle is this place. So I'm going to copy also this call to action. Let me copy the full call to action. Let me not copy the headline for the call to action. Let me copy the whole call to action, and then I'm going to paste it after here. Now we have follow the bottle, which is the headline here. And then we have the call to action, which is don't let plastic reach drains. Encourage people to pick up litter before it reaches drainage channel. This is like more of explaining the call to action. So let's leave it like that. And then the most important thing is create a realistic educational campaign image. Let's also make that bold so that you guys can see it clearly. So this is the instruction. We edited it, we added the headline, and then we added the call to action. Let's go ahead and select image. Click on the plus sign, select create image, and then send. Now let's see what happens. Are you guys following so far? Hope you guys are following so far. So let's let the AI do its work. Okay, I think it's almost done. Okay. Now, pay attention. It's done with the design. This is the design we asked it to do. Is that okay? As you can see, we told it to leave clean negative space for headline and call to action. Is that okay? So this is the space it left for the headline and call to action. This is the space it left for us. So this prompt is just telling me to do this background and leave space for us to add the headline and call to action. Is that okay? So I can go ahead and download this, go to Canva and use my hand, add text and add the call to action and the headline. Is that okay? Or I can decide to do it here. I can try also to do it here. Since it's done with generating this particular image, let's go ahead and tell it to add the call to action and also the headline. Let's see what happens. Add the call to the headline and call to action in the negative space or negative white space. So we can tell it to add the headline and call to action in the negative white space. Is that okay? Or let's say in the clean negative white space. So we're trying to mimic what we wrote here. Let's see if it's going to do that work for us. No, we did this prompt because this prompt is meant for you to just get this image, go to Canva, add your headline and your additional information and your call to action at this side. That's why the prompt is like this. But you can also decide to try your luck and then ask the AI to add those headlines and call to action to this space. Let's see if it's going to get a nice write-up for us on that space. After that, once we are done with that, we go ahead over to the documents, the PDF document we have to talk about some things. And after that, we can end the section. All right, so as you can see, the AI is generating using the headline. The reason why I added the headline to this prompt at the first place is for you to capture it. As you can see, if I didn't add this headline on this first prompt, I know this first prompt is just to get this white space, but I added the headline and call to action. If I didn't do that, and then if I ask it to add the headline and call to action, it's going to be a problem because it's not going to know the headline to add because you didn't add it here. That's why I'm saying it's important to edit your prompt. So since I added the follow the bottle and also the call to action that says don't let plastic reach the drain, and once I say add the headline and call to action in this clean negative space, why I said clean negative space is because I have clean negative space here on the prompt. So I want to use clean negative space so that it's going to refer back to this first prompt so that it's not going to make mistakes. Is that okay? Before it will end up adding write-ups to this side of the image. I don't want it to add write-ups to this left side. That's why I'm saying clean negative white space so that it knows that it's meant to add it only to this right side that it left for us before based on the former prompt we used. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Hope you guys understanding what I'm saying. Now we have this design, follow the bottle, don't let the plastic reach the drain. And then he added the additional information about the call to action. So as you can see, we have a very, very nice design at the end of this prompting. We have an amazing result from this. So you can go ahead to right click, save, and then that's it for prompting. If you want to build your own, as you can see, this bottle here, this letter O here, they added a bottle to it. So this is also giving you an insight. If you paste this design on the within 3 seconds, someone can understand what it means. So that's the importance of using artificial intelligence to run your designs. But if you want to use your hand to add this write-up, Yes, like Mr. Lota is saying, it doesn't look like AI. It can never look like AI because it's a clean prompt. And if you edit your prompt properly and add your headline and call to action, you get a clean prompt. And if you have this first image, you can decide to edit the write-up yourself on Canva, or you can click on the prompting menu and then add the headline and call to action in the clean negative white space just from the prompts. So it already have the headline here and the call to action here. So it's going to help you and add it. And as you can see, it mixed the color perfectly. So you have blue and lighter bottle. The reason why you are seeing these colors here, these blue colors here, is because the reason why you're seeing these colors here is because it's mixing up the colors based on the topic. Is that okay? These colors here also reflects to this topic. That's why you're seeing this. So on Canva, you can download this, go to Canva. Just like I said, you can edit it on Canva, just like we did for this particular one. You can also decide to edit on Canva. But the difference between the other post and this one is landscape. This is not a poster design. Is that okay? Because we said here, create a realistic educational campaign image. We did not say create a realistic educational campaign poster. So we decided on the picture to use. But if we asked it to create a poster, it's going to be vertical. Is that okay? It's going to look like this particular one. It's going to be straight. But since we have a landscape design, which is this, we have a landscape design here. Let me go ahead and download this, and then let's see if you can just edit it a little bit on Canva. And let me just show you how to do that. So on Canva, on your home menu, the same process I used in this one. You choose your layout. Now, the layout for that particular design is landscaped. As you can see, is landscaped. So you're not going to be using portrait layout for it. So you're going to select landscape layouts for it. So you click on create. Like I said, if on ChatGPT, if you ask it to create a campaign poster, it's going to make it vertical. But since you just said campaign image, that's why it decided on the one to use. Is that okay? So if you want to tell it to use a particular layout, you have to tell it plain. You have to tell it the type of layout to use. Is that okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to search for flyer and see if you can get a landscape flyer, which is this. No, the other one we did is horizontal flyer, which is this portrait. So we select landscape for this particular one, and then we're going to go ahead to call the image here. This is not the perfect size for that particular design, but we are still going to size it up and see how it looks. Since we know it's landscape, so we don't have any problem with it. Is that okay? Like Mr. Lota is saying on the chat, you can also tell it the ratio to use. If you're telling it to use to design as a poster, you can also tell it the ratio to use. You can say something like 1080 by 1080 px or whatever size you want to use. You can do that also. So on Canva here, click on upload, just like we did. Click on upload file. And that picture with empty white space, you can just go ahead to add it. Once it appears here, click on it, and then it adds it to the white board. Is that okay? Now, what we can do is we just drag it to the side of the page here, to the edge of the page, and then expand it. You see that it's going to fit perfectly. Now, if I expand it to the downside, we have a little bit space here. Is that okay? We have a little bit space here, and this space here is white. So we can decide to drag this like this to cover up the white space. So we have a perfect landscape design layouts. Are you guys following? Hope you guys are following. Now on the Canva, we can now start adding the write-ups, the heading we want. So we click on text, add the heading, and then we paste our heading on Canva. Now, up to you to decide on the colors to use. So let's just do like ChatGPT. So we'll do follow the bottle. And then we are going to align to the left so that all the text comes to the left. Align to the left. Follow the bottle. Is that okay? And then let's say I do this, increase the size a little bit. Now the spaces in between are too much, so I'm going to go ahead and click on advanced settings here at this top side and reduce line spacing. Reduce the line spacing so that the spaces in between them are not going to be too much. Is that okay? I don't want the spacing to be too much. Now after that, I can decide to follow their own step. Change, double click on the follow, change the color to, let's say I do green for this. And then I leave this to be black, change the bottle, because plastic bottles are normally blue. So I would do something like, let's say I do something like light blue. Remember to use complementary colors, like we just said. We don't use colors that are not going to match what we're trying to design. So if the colors are not matching, you can use the colors that match also. You can use that alarm red or whatever, or you still use that green for this bottle, depending on what you're trying to, the colors you're trying to mix up. Is that okay? So once you use your colors, you can do your color mixing, use the colors you want to use for those particular write-up. And then you go straight to adding some, let's say you add some visuals just like them, and then you add the additional facts at the downside of this page. Hope you guys are following. Hope you guys are following so far. Now, on ChatGPT, they added a bottle to this circle here. So you can decide to do that also. Let me show you how to do that. Let me just use their color palettes. They used light blue and then they used dark blue for the follow. So light blue and dark blue goes together. Light green and dark green goes together. So you have to know your colors, like I said. Let's assume I'm trying to use these two colors for this particular design. And I'm trying to add a bottle to this place. So I can search for plastic. And then I can get an icon for plastic or image for plastic. If I want to get icon for plastic, I'll go to graphics. I wouldn't go to photos. Photos are just images. So if I want to use plastic icons, I can go to just graphics. I can search for plastic, go to graphics, and then I get whatever I want to use. I can decide to use this icon here. I can just decide to use recycling icon, something like this. Like I said, depending on what you are working on, you can decide to use anything you want. Let's say I'm using this, or let's say I'm using this particular one that shows the Earth. What I can do is I can reduce the size of this. Let me remove this particular one. I can use this one for this downside, for that additional fact and whatever. I can just place this here. Now for this particular Earth icon, what I can do for this is, let me go ahead and zoom it a little bit. What I can do for this Earth icon is that I can reduce the size of this Earth icon, reduce it very, very well, and then I can place it at the center of this circle. But if I place it at the center of the circle, it doesn't match the shape of this letter O here. So the same process we did on the other design, we can add circle icon. We can add circle icon to cover the center of that letter O. So we cover the center of the letter O fully. So if I say circle, cover the center fully, and then we add our icon to the center. Is that okay? So this is letter O. Remember, the background color for this session is white. So what we're going to do is we'll pick this circle, place it here, and then we're going to change this circle to white so that it matches the background. Is that okay? So we have something like this. And then we add this circle, this X to it, position it forward so that it becomes visible. So because this is a perfect circle, once you add it to the circle, it matches the design we're trying to work on. Is that okay? So you can do something like that. Or, like I said, you can use those recycle icons also. So let's try that again. You can use the recycle icons to add to the center of the circle. If someone sees those things, the person already knows what you're talking about. The person knows that you're talking about recycling and stuff like that. So you can do this, reduce this, and add it to the center of the circle, something like this. So that's how you do that. And after that, you go ahead to add your additional facts here and the other write-ups. Hope you guys are following so far. Hope you guys are following so far. All right. So because of time, I'm not going to finish adding. I'm not going to add the additional information. You know what to do already. Let's get back to the document and try and see if we can finish up. So I'm going to be uploading the document to your dashboard. And the document, we have different prompts you can try out to get your informations. For water, for waste sorting, we have this particular prompt. 5 campaign concept distinguishing plastic. You see, we have this particular prompt for this waste sorting. For renewable energy, we have this particular prompt. For water conservation, we have this particular prompt. So you can go ahead to check your dashboard for the documents so that you can try out those prompts also for other people that have other topics. Is that okay? Now, beautiful does not mean correct. Beautiful does not mean correct. That means even if the design is beautiful, you have to read the information on the design to know if the AI did the right work or not. Is that okay? So do not automatically use the results. Ask, can we publish this because AI said it? If the answer is yes, or the answer is no, you know because you know the stuff you're working on. And if it's giving you a start, you ask the question, where did these numbers come from? Let's assume the AI is saying that in Africa, Africans only have 10 gallons of water, and the write-up is there on the design. You know that this write-up is wrong. Is that okay? So you have to verify the stats it's giving you. So you have to go and research on that to know if it's correct. If it's not correct, then you add the correct one, or you tell AI to replace this fact you wrote here, add this particular one here. Is that okay? Remember to use your quotes while doing that. And then the third question here says, can we verify it? So you have to verify it to know if it's correct. If it's not correct, you have to change it. Hope you guys are following. So you have to cross-check your work after generating to know if it's correct. If it's not correct, you have to make adjustments to it. Never turn an AI-generated claim into a fact simply because it sounds confident. Like I said, these AI machines are trained by people. So some facts they are using might be wrong. So you have to verify your facts. Don't just assume because it's AI that gave you the information that is correct. You have to verify the source of the information. So this place says the Human Plus AI Environmental Campaign Challenge. So this is your assignment. Some of you usually do your assignment. Why the others don't do your assignment? I don't know the reason why. Like I said, practicing adds experience to your campaign. So if you are practicing, you are far ahead of someone that is not practicing because you know how the prompts work, you know the things to adjust, you know how to edit your prompts. So you have to do your assignments, do your projects. Is that okay? Now this challenge says choose one sustainability issue you have already encountered on the STEM experience, and then you try as much as possible to generate a campaign for it. You can still go ahead to generate a design for it, just like a topic, just for practice, just in case so that you can master the art of using this tool for designing. So that during your presentation, during your project defense, you are going to present a nice design that is going to be very, very amazing. If you don't practice, you're not going to get that experience that you're going to use for that particular project. Is that okay? So 6 steps to achieve this goal. You have to think. You first of all think about the prompts. You generate the headline, the additional information, the call to action, but you have to think about it also. You have to make adjustment to the prompts. Know what you're asking from the AI. Add the most important informations. Just like Mr. Luther said, you can tell it to generate a poster. You can even give it the size of the poster you want it to generate. Give it the colors you want, give it information you want. If you are designing for your school, you can tell it the name of your school and then tell it to add the name of your school to the design. And once it does that, you can just edit only the Can you guys hear me? All right. Let's try and conclude the section. Okay. Back to the documents. Okay. So after thinking about the prompts, editing your prompts and all of that, you have to use AI to generate alternative headlines and visuals. You have to evaluate, change the accurate and inaccurate, change the inaccurate information provided by the AI. Is that okay? And then you improve your prompts. All those editing we have been doing, you improve the prompts. After that, you design. After the design, once the output is out, you try and verify the information provided by the AI. Is that okay? So you go through the poster and verify the information provided by the AI. This particular prompt here is reusable. So you can edit this particular prompt to fit into any stuff you're working on. And as you can see here, we have brackets here. These brackets, you can fill it out. See here, we have audience, so you can write 10 to 15 years age students here. Environmental problem here, you can write your environmental problem, that's your topic. And then here you can write a poster, a mini campaign or presentation. And so here you tell it what to design. And here you write the call to action. Here you write the additional information. Is that okay? So this particular prompt you are seeing here is perfect for ChatGPT. You can edit this particular one for ChatGPT. Always, you can edit it always and use it on ChatGPT. While the one at the right side, you can edit it always and use it for Canva. Hope you guys understand. So let me go ahead and copy the 2 prompts, and then I'll paste it on the charts. Remember, the document is always on your dashboard, so you go ahead and get the document also, so you can practice with it. Like I say, we have 4 or 5 limits, so make sure you write the full prompt. If you exhaust your 5 designs per day, you have to wait till the next day, unless you have to log out that account and log in another ChatGPT account for you to have access to more designs. So make sure you write the full prompt before clicking enter for it to design, so that you wouldn't waste your chances of designing multiple stuff in a day. So student showcase wrap up. The environmental problem I chose was, so you have to fill out these things for yourself. The environmental problem I chose was, so you write your environmental problem. Just write it down somewhere. My original idea was, you write down your idea, what you are trying to build for your project. And then after research, you fill out this one that says AI suggested. So you choose what the AI suggested for you, the headline, the additional fact, the one you are choosing. Is that okay? And then here I accept, reject that suggestion because. So you have to accept this suggestion or reject the suggestion. So anyone you accept, you write the reason why you accepted it. Is that okay? So write this down. Write this down so you fill it out for yourself. And then here it says I changed. So you write whatever you're going to change from the design you got. This is for your project. This is going to be important during your project. So this is what you have to know. And then this last one says my final design asks the audience to. This is what your design is telling the audience. The headline, my final design, for example, my final design asks the audience to save water by taking social action because leaving the taps for a long period of time is going to lead to blah blah blah. So that's what this place is going to look like. My final design asks the audience to save water by taking the actual action because you now write the additional facts they have to know. Is that okay? So just write this down so that it's going to guide you throughout your project. So I'm going to provide in this document also on the dashboard. So go to your resources after a few hours after this section to download this material. It's very, very important. And then I'm thinking that at this point, you guys understood the problem and you guys also know how to edit the prompt so that it can communicate the information clearly to the audience. And you guys also understood how to use artificial intelligence to amplify your creativity. Is that okay? Hope you guys enjoyed this section. Hope everyone enjoyed the section. If you enjoyed the section, give a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the section, give a thumbs up. If you learned a lot, give a thumbs up. If you have a question, raise your hand. If you have a question, raise your hand. Let's attend to that. If you don't have any questions, should I go ahead and ask questions? I don't even know. Okay, should I go ahead and ask questions? I think I should go ahead and ask questions. So just like we normally do it in previous sessions, if I call your name, just you're going to unmute your mic and then you're going to talk. So if I call your name, you have to give a thumbs up, then I will unmute your mic so I will know you are active. Is that okay? So first of all, I'm going to call Sharon. Okay. So Sharon, raise your hand if you can hear me. I know you can hear me. Just raise your hand so I can unmute you, then I'll ask you a question. Sharon, can you raise your hand? Hope you guys can hear me, right? Sharon doesn't want to raise her hand. Okay, let's go to someone else. I don't know why some of you are doing this. Okay, let's go to Amanda. Can you hear me? Give a thumbs up, Amanda, if you can hear me. So Amanda, can you raise your hand? All right. So I'm going to ask you a simple question, and then I'm going to ask you a question, then you unmute your mic just to. Okay, just hold on a little bit. Okay, so Amanda, the question goes like this. Why do you normally verify your design before using it? Why do you verify your design from the AI before using it?
Because AI sometimes makes mistakes, so you have to check it first so you know that it's actually true before you actually use it in your design.
All right, thank you very much, Amanda. You always deliver. Okay, so we are moving to the next person. I'm going to call on Cheesy, raise your hand if you are ready for the question. Go ahead and raise your hand, Cheesy. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question now. So you're going to unmute your mic and then you answer the question. What are the key important things you add to the prompts during the designing to make it to make the information fully? What do you add in quotes? What do you add using quotes during the prompting to make the design better?
You need to talk about what the main what the heading, you have to tell the AI what the heading is, and you have to mention your target audience. Otherwise the AI is going to make something too complex for maybe, like, I don't know, if your target, let's say your target audience was like 10 years old, the AI can make like a really complex poster that the 10-year-old wouldn't be able to understand. And you have to also include stuff like your color scheme, or like what your actual project is mainly about, like if it's about saving electricity or saving water.
Okay, if you don't add those information to the prompting, what do you think would happen at the end of the design? What would happen at the end of the output?
I think that it wouldn't be anything like the results that you get wouldn't be useful to you whatsoever, because the AI would have because the info that you gave the AI was too vague or inaccurate, so you get work that you won't be satisfied with at the end.
All right, thank you very much, Izzy. You always deliver. Thank you very much. Hope you guys that are hiding from question are understanding how the process works. There's no need of you to hide. You have to pay attention to the classes, and then you get enough information to answer questions. It's not even a complex question to answer. It's simple questions. So if you are not raising your hand, if you are pretending not to be hearing me during this question section, then you are actually playing yourself. So just pay attention to the class. The questions are not difficult. You can say anything and then you get corrected, even if it's not correct. But I'm sure that if you say something, you always be correct, because the section is quite simple and understandable. So one more question and then we call it a day. Kansi Ochukwu, can you raise your hand to answer questions? Okay, let me go ahead and ask a question, then let's see how you do. All right, now, are you ready? Okay. So the question goes like this. If you want to edit this particular output, if you want to edit this headline, save energy, turn things off, if you want to change it into something else, what do you have to do? If you want to edit the headline, what do you have to do? Kamsi Ochukwu, go ahead and unmute your mic and attempt the question.
I'm not really sure what you have to do.
Okay, no problem. Jane, can you help her out? I can rephrase the question, Jane. Raise your hand if you can help her out. Okay. Let me just rephrase the question so that you can help out. All right. I said, if you want to change the headline for this design, save energy, turn things off, what do you have to do? Go ahead, Jen, and attempt the question.
You could send a prompt about changing the headline into something more positive, I think.
So if you want to change the prompt for the headline, give an example of what you can write to change the prompt. What can you write to change the prompt?
turn it off if you're not using it.
Okay. Thank you very much for attempting the question. So like I said before, if you are to change that particular headline, all you have to do is you add additional information just like this. Simple instruction can solve that. We just say change headline from, and then you tell it what to do. You write the previous headline in quotes, and then you say something like to, and then you add the new headline you want it to use. So change headline from save off, switch off light, save energy to save energy, turn things up. Is that okay? So you can go ahead and then write that simple prompt, and it changes the headline for you. You can also go to download the design, go to Canva, and also change the headline for you. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So if you have any issues with the topic, or if you are trying to practice and you forgot something, go to your dashboard, go to the video section of your dashboard. You see the video there. By tomorrow, the video should be uploaded to your dashboard. Or you go to our YouTube page, you go to search for Sysmo Tutors on YouTube, and then you see the videos. You just have to watch the videos, and then you practice with the video. All the sessions are recorded, like I said. Is that okay? So nobody should be left behind. Like I said, the more you practice, the more you gain experience. So if you don't go to your dashboard to watch the videos, or go to YouTube to watch the videos, then you are missing out. You have to practice so that you can learn. You can write these prompts without looking at the screen. You can write it off head. It's just to know how it works, the type of information it needs from you, and then you are good to go. So once more, if you enjoyed this section, give a thumbs up, and then you can leave the class. Thank you very much for attending this section once more. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this section, and then comment on the chat if you want to. And have a great day. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you very much, Izzy. Amanda, thank you very much. Bye, Amanda. Bye, Ikechukwu. Bye, Jen. I'll see you guys on the next section. Bye, Kamsi Ochukwu. Bye, Richard.